By the way, this edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by SACL CAI.
So we're heading down to the courtroom to see what's happening in the hearing room.
You're going in alone?
Right.
It's like the guards are starting to walk the perimeter past us. Anyhow, in goes Lauren. So they probably asked him to walk around and take a look at us. This has happened before, it's common, and most of the time the folks are very polite who come to take a look at us. How are you doing? You're being audio recorded? So hopefully Lauren will have a chance to go in there, take a look, see what's going on, and come back out and report.
By the way, so far we've been keeping some track of the public response. I would say that I've seen 5 positive responses myself, seen or heard 5 positive responses and 2 negative responses to what we're doing. And then Jim over there reports that he has gotten 2-to-1 positive response, which is roughly the same as what I'm getting.
But that means, you know, at least 1 out of every 3 people is objecting to our message in some way, which is a pretty high negative compared to some things you demonstrate about.
A little bit more about the guy inside who's up for hearing today. His name's Bob Wolf. He's the Vermont leader of the U.S. Constitution Rangers, which is the organization that Ed was big in. He has a wife named Valerie. The 2 of them were raided in September. I think he's in his 50s. They were raided in September, or like visited in September, and then they, I guess, allegedly attempted to leave their house, according to the mainstream media, right after they were interviewed. And at that point, Bob Wolf was arrested, and Valerie Wolf was not. There were originally mainstream media reports, at least over the last week or 2, indicating that this hearing had to do with him possibly coming to a plea agreement or pleading out or something like that, cutting a deal. But apparently that's not what's happening. At least as of a couple days ago, everyone was insisting that Wolf was not attempting to cut a deal today. Now, I recently saw a letter from Wolf, which was posted on nhfree.com. Apparently, he said, something to the effect that folks need to continue standing up. Then I think what he's saying is that the government will back down, is what he was saying. If enough people do the kind of thing that the Ed Brown supporters are doing, then the government will back down. That was his line in the letter. A lot of times people ask me, where I stand on this sort of thing. Well, personally, I don't consider myself an Ed Brown supporter, but I'm an opponent of hurting Ed Brown, and the people who support Ed Brown, I'm an opponent of hurting them too. The way I look at it, their hearts were in the right place. They were doing something that was very dangerous to them personally, that they felt would help someone in defending their home. That's the way I look at it. So to try and, the feds are looking at charging these people with 20 years in jail, trying to get them 20 years in jail each, all 4 of the Brown supporters that were arrested other than Lauren. That's not proportionate. It's not accurate. It's not the kind of penalty that fits the crime, if in fact it even really was a crime.
There are people by the hundreds of thousands in America, over the last few years who protested against the United States federal government hurting Saddam Hussein. It's very appropriate, I think, to protest against hurting Ed Brown or his supporters, even if he is not perfect. Another way I have of looking at it, if in fact for some reason it were right to hurt Ed Brown by jailing him or fining him or whatnot, is it right to take the tax dollars of people who don't believe that Ed Brown should be hurt and use it for that purpose? Now it looks like trial is out and some of the people who are inside are coming out.
Then you got the good side.
Well, if they...
May I videotape you, Bernie?
Sure.
Joe?
Too late, right?
What happened in there?
Nothing really. They just had a couple motion hearings and, they're proceeding toward trial. The one for Danny's case, he has a new attorney, so they accepted the new attorney as standby counsel, and for Bob Wolf, he's firing his attorney and getting...
Okay, so apparently what's happening now is that there's a judge from Maine who is being asked to decide whether he should let Bob Wolf out. Bob Wolf's asking to be let out so that he can spend time finding an attorney. He says he can't defend himself while he's in jail.
Oh, I left mine in the car because they confiscate it all the time.
Yeah.
They did.
Oh, they do. Well, I want to go and see if see where Marie's going to be.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right too. Yeah.
Okay, so Joe Haas here on the left from Concord is reporting that the next thing that will happen is a detention hearing, and he also to determine whether Bob can be let out for a while. And then he also said, Joe here also says that the new judge appears not too bad. The judge's name is apparently George Singal or Singal, and he's from Maine. Dave Ridley here, signing off for RidleyReport.com.
SACL CAI does collections a whole new way. They know that not only do you want your money, you want to keep your customers. SACL CAI. They collect with respect.